Hi, my name's Sean Marcel. I'm one of the managing partners here at CirrusTel, and welcome to our STIR series. What are these videos, short videos, usually 15, 20 minutes long, consist of? They consist of solutions that improve results. Now, this can be across a few different functional areas in business. It could be a financial outcome or improvement. It can be a business outcome improvement in the sense of operationally better efficiency of your employees, better utilization of their time. It can be a headcount reduction through process improvement. You can have improvements in your cybersecurity posture, being better protected. You can also have impacts to your business positively when it comes to any kind of green initiatives that you have, such as lowering utility costs and your carbon footprint at the same time. So welcome and thanks for joining me today. We've got a really interesting topic that I think several of you, even if you're not in the role of a facility manager, can benefit from as well. So what we're going to talk about today is why should facility managers care about AI? Not because Skynet's coming or that they've infiltrated us yet. I guess we probably all think that it's coming or had those thoughts, especially us that watched Terminator in the 80s. But there's a lot of positive things that are out there around AI, especially if it's implemented in the right way. And that's something at CirrusTel we can help you understand and implement and help your business. So let's jump in to the conversation. We're going to be talking about the safety systems and the surveillance systems for your business and organization. Now, traditional systems are really reactive, they're costly, they're ineffective, they're time consuming, and quite honestly, they're obsolete, right? One person, and you can see in the background here, sitting at a screen, having multiple screens, trying to scan across that stuff and decipher or see a threat, it's pretty low in their capability to do that, unfortunately. So how can you improve their success, which then also improves the safety for your employees, for your patrons, and also reduce your liability at the same time? Well, we have a solution for that. It's AI-based, and we're going to talk about it today. Gun violence. This is the first example here, and I'm going to have several examples with some statistics like this. I'm not going to read through the statistics. You can see it there, and anybody can email me. You see my information scrolling at the bottom, and I'd be happy to provide the entire presentation to you. We're just going to talk for the first few bullet items. There's 4 or 5 of them. And then I'll show you a few different examples in addition to that, but we won't go deep diving into that. You can request the presentation. I'll send it to you. But this is definitely one that's on top of mind for many. We see it in the news too often. It's not just at schools. It's in any place of business, right? It can be churches, it can be malls, theaters, wherever it may be. So how do you improve the safety? How do you stop this threat in a proactive way? And this is what this solution does. Not only does it do things proactively, it also reactively takes actions that will mitigate damage. So weapon detection. It can detect the guns. It can determine whether it's a handgun, shotgun, rifle, but not only guns, it can detect knives, machetes, whatever it may be that's determined as a weapon. It can identify that threat. And in identifying that threat, you can send notification to the security staff. You can even notify the police. What's nice about the solution is not only are you getting a notification, you'll see later on in the presentation, a little snippet of a screenshot on how you're notified right on your mobile device. And all of us have a mobile device today. So this is an application that goes on your mobile device and also can be viewed from your desktop. So what's important about gun detection that I think a lot of systems miss is that you want to be able to take action, and you want to be able to take that action before the threat enters the facility. And so with intrusion detection, identifying based on these regions of interest, so you create like a geofence in an area, These can be used for other things outside of gun detection as well that you'll probably see as we go through here or can start thinking about, such as a parked car in an area that shouldn't be there. But if somebody was detected 100 feet away from the building carrying a weapon, you could actually take threat with an IoT device, Internet of Things, and lock the doors of the building should you have the proper systems in place. This system will integrate to that. You can also do things, as you see listed here, outside of guns with parking detection, accident detections. And again, you're getting real-time alerts around this, and you're going to be able to identify exactly where on the premise they are with a map that you'll see kind of an example on the upcoming slide. So very, very important is the ability to take action before the threat actually enters the property. And it doesn't have to have a physical barrier. You can create this fence vertically or that area, and there doesn't have to be an actual hard barrier of any kind to create that that region of interest. Also, what's good with the system is that there are people in some cases that have armed security personnel. And with the facial recognition that it can do, you'll see upcoming, we can identify the difference between somebody that's authorized to carry a weapon and somebody that's not authorized to carry a weapon. So you can have somebody carrying a weapon and not be triggering alerts. Now, additional threats to the premise as a facility manager. Fire, right? You have smoke detection, fire detection systems. Well, what if you could detect that before it even hits the smoke alarm, before it triggers the water sprinkler system to go off? This system can do that because it does it visually and thermally. So some fires start, and often too many now because so many of the devices that we have in an office setting or in a building or even in a warehouse, because you're storing this, have lithium batteries in them. Those lithium batteries, right, we've seen it. We've seen these little motorized scooters that kids are running around on catch on fire. It could be so many different applications. But this system can detect that thermal image heating up before it starts on fire. And so you can then send the alert and trigger to take action. It can trigger on the scene detection indoors or outdoors, the fire, before the fire actually triggers the alarm system. Everything when it comes to the alerts, by the way, can be done in under 2 seconds. That's correct. Under 2 seconds, and we can demo this for you where you can actually see real alerts off of any of these things happening in like 1.2 seconds. Slip and fall accidents, another liability and risk for businesses. There's businesses and people that not only are they getting hurt, there's liability associated with this, right? You get sued, it can cause you to go bankrupt, unfortunately, through some kind of suit. So how can you protect yourself and make sure that person that needs help gets the help that they need right away? Plus, how do you mitigate the liability should there be somebody making a claim that's not 100% accurate? Well, now you're going to have the footage to be able to dispute their claim to whatever level you need to. So kind of small on the screen, but this is an office setting where somebody's walking on, maybe they have a heart attack, they fall down. With the work from home, that has a lot of benefits to it. There's also less people in office settings as well, even today. But regardless, even back in the day when there was a lot of people, there are areas of your premise where maybe there's not a lot of traffic. If there's somebody was to have an incident, it can detect and monitor and alert around that. If they fell down the stairs, for example, and when I mentioned around liability, if this person tripped and then they get right back up and they start walking off like they're not even hurt, but then a month later you get a lawsuit issued to you, well, you have the information there, and you're going to be able to go to the exact date and time of that event, not by knowing the date and time, but actually by searching on, as an example, the guy in the blue shirt, and it's going to find the date and time for you in a matter of less than a couple seconds. Loitering. So let's say you have people gathering. Usually, if people start gathering in a given area, Once you get too many, it becomes a problem, right? Whether it's teenagers or adults. So you can use this to identify the crowd, identify an alert off of a threshold, to then say, okay, if we have 20 people here in this area, that's okay. But if we start seeing 50 people, let's start notifying somebody to see what's going on, because something that isn't kosher might be happening. Now, it doesn't matter if it's nighttime or daytime, because of the thermal capabilities, we can count and detect the number of people on a given area. So think of how this could help in what we've seen over the years, where different protests have actually turned violent. So not only that, but even more so, you have fire code, you have restrictions on your property as to how many people are allowed into a given area. This can help you monitor and control that. Personal protection equipment. Man, PPE, I think we all are sick of this word because of COVID and having to wear masks. So this is not just for masks, right? This is for whether you're wearing the vest, whether you're wearing the helmet, and I'll show you a slide on that in just a second, but it can detect not only whether somebody is wearing the PPE, but if that person is in your system, and an employee, as an example, even though their face is partially covered, you can detect who it is and identify maybe if that person is supposed to be in a given area or not. You can also use it for your safety measures to make sure that people are doing and wearing the things and behaving that they're supposed to be under your policies. So very useful for HR enforcement. So a mask, think of a hospital staff setting. Maybe, you have to wear a mask if you're in a given area of the hospital. Now you can be seen if people are complying or not. If you notice people are not complying, whether they're employees or not, then you can take measures to improve your policy somehow, right? Safety vests. Think of a school crossing guard. Are they wearing it at the end of the day? Industrial applications, you're driving a forklift, whatever your policies are, if you're required to wear that safety vest or that helmet on a construction site or on the location, with this system, you can detect if people are wearing them or not. Again, think of your liability when it comes to this. If somebody gets hurt, says they were wearing their helmet, but you can't prove that they weren't, and then you're up sitting with a significant dollar amount or claim. So it definitely helps you with liability in addition to other things. Access control. This is a major problem regardless if you have fobs or badges. People share them. We've all probably been guilty of that, right? You forget it at home one day. You borrow somebody else's, whatever it may be. With the facial recognition component, the access control that this integrates to can make sure that those badges are then matched to the face. So think of it, everybody's familiar with two-factor authentication, that you get a text on your phone. Well, the badge will not open the locking mechanism on the door or whatever it may be if the facial recognition doesn't support the matching of the badge. You can also use the facial recognition to open the door. So the facial recognition, you have people that are in your database that are defined, so you upload their photos. Again, I mentioned earlier, you can detect people whether their face is fully available or not. This has a huge accuracy rate, so very, very good at detecting people. It also tracks the people that are not in your system. So if you did have an event, you can easily search and find that person, and maybe you need to make them a known person to get an alert. Let's say you had a break and enter or some kind of illegal activity happen on your premise. You now know the person that did it because you've been able to find them in there, because you know what day it was, and then you find them. Now you can then say, oh, this person is the person that did it. You can do a search and find that person whenever they've been on your property for historical reasons and proactively going forward should they come back on your premise. This could be used for, again, HR policies around disgruntled employees. It can be used for people that are not allowed to pick up their child, as an example. You've had somebody that's been banned from the property. Again, those people can be entered in there. Public images from different sources, such as in a mall setting or a different area. Maybe there's age restriction or different things like that. You can also use the system to detect on age and gender as well. So how does this system actually connect to your network, right? You're probably thinking, oh my goodness, this is very sophisticated. I only touched on a handful of things that it can do, and it's much more. I'll give you a list here of what it can do, but guess what? It's very simple on how it connects, and it's very affordable. This solution connects to your existing NVR network and camera system. So you don't have to go and replace anything that you have. If you do need additional cameras, HD cameras, things like that, we have the capability to do it, but I'm sure you've already got a partner that does that for you. You can just get more based on the analysis of where these things need to be. It simply plugs into the router. It's on your network. Now, it can take the historical recordings and all new recordings to do everything that I've talked to you about and the things that I'm going to outline going forward. The alerting, you can get those alerts at your desktop. You can get them right to your mobile device. So people download the application, the authorized people. You set them up in the system. They download the app on their phone. Go back again to the security officer. Now they're patrolling, walking the area, having an actual presence. The system is taking care of truly and accurately scanning and detecting events across the entire facility that you're trying to take care of. And if something happens, an alert pops up, they click on it, they can see the threat that is going on. It identifies what type of threat. So if it's a weapon detection, if it's a fire, whatever it may be, if it's something that requires the authorities to be notified, that's set up in the system ahead of time. But in addition to this visual of where they are, there's a little button at the top on your app that you can click on, and it'll give you a floor print of the facility and the property and actually show you where people are on the premise. Now, camera systems. Basically, there isn't a camera system that we've come across that it can't connect to. Maybe there is one, but we haven't run into it yet. Here's a few of the different names of camera systems and NVR systems that are already being in use with this solution. So fear not, you don't have a new investment to make. You have simply this appliance that goes on, and depending on the number of feature sets that you want, it depends on the licensing and the size of the box. What's nice is there's no capital expenditure either for that device. It's an as-a-service solution, so you pay monthly based on the number of licenses that you want to use and the types of threats that you're protecting against. Additional use cases to wrap up here real quick. Vehicle counting. Identify how many people are coming on your property, what time of day they're coming. License and plate recognition, vehicle itself, make, model. Is somebody parking where they're supposed to be parking? Do you need to call the tow truck? Intrusion detection, night or day, right? Because of the thermal imaging. Maybe somebody is in an area of the office building at a time of day when they're not supposed to be. You can detect on that and give an alert. Because maybe they're authorized to be in the building, but they go somewhere that they're not. Object search. Somebody leaves a backpack in a given area. You can set a time to say, okay, if that backpack is not picked up within a few minutes, notify me so I can notify the appropriate people and identify what's there. You can then take a look at the footage and know which person it was, do a search now on that image, find that person where they are on the property elsewhere, if they're still on property or not. People counting, something that's very useful, again, from a fire code standpoint. How many people are allowed on your property? Maybe you want to use this for marketing. Maybe you have an event going on and you actually want to know how many people attended, as an example, on a regular basis. For which service, you can count the number of people that are coming. Drone detection. This is actually a cybersecurity protection. Why? Because bad actors are using drones to go onto the roof of the building and get access to the network. You don't know they're there. This can detect them, so you can take proper action. Scene change detection and alert. The scene changes, we talked about some scene changes in the sense of falling, loitering, things like that, but it can also detect different natural hazards, as an example, or vehicles that aren't supposed to be in a given area, or based on the scene, right? So let's say there's a tree that's fallen down, you can get notified that there's something blocking your entranceway or impacting your property. So with that said, my information has been scrolling across the bottom. Please reach out to me. There's 3 different ways. You can email me, you can call me, you can use that Calendly URL to book a time on my calendar so we can go deeper. And if you'd like the full presentation, just shoot me an email and you'll see these other additional use cases. But honestly, the best way to really dive into this and see if it's a fit for your business and for us to put a proposal together, let's set up a time. We'll take you through a demo. We'll ask a few simple questions and we'll give you a quote and proposal on how this solution can help your business. No haggle, no hassle, simple, easy peasy. And we look forward to hearing from you. Again, thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed this. And until our next topic, have a blessed day.